Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful, excuse me, my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously. So we got a grey scar in, that doesn't mean no, just got an itch, in our old England, my delicious little babies. The sun is shining slightly, so no reason to really sing today, my delicious little babies, about the sun. It's not as cold as it has been the past couple of days, my delicious little babies, but for yourselves, I hope that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. So 3, 2, 1, my juice little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, they are, aren't they, my delicious little babies? Okay. Trying to get them even there. Now then, my delicious little babies, I forgot to tell you, 2 nights ago, okay, my delicious little babies, so we have street lights on our road. I mean, now, one to say, well, there's street lights everywhere, Carla. Well, actually, no, there isn't, because if you go into the countryside, you'll find that, there are a lot of places where the lights, really, are not there. And even around the lake, over the back of myself, to tell you the truth, they were removing bins, so you can hardly find a bin. And there is very little lighting when one walks around my delicious little babies, so they've been doing this long time. But getting back now to the matter in hand, so 2 nights ago, and we're on the 3rd of November today, 2025, and the time is 11 a.m. Okay, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? Okay, right outside, because I stepped outside my front door and I thought, flip me, I thought this is dark. So directly opposite my flat is a lamppost, my delicious baby. So that light was out, and then just left to where I live, my delicious babies. You're literally talking a hop, skip, and a jump. That light was out. All the other lights were on, just those 2. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So it went back to normal yesterday evening, but the fact of the matter is that I do not believe that that was, where the lights had all gone out, you know what I mean? Because they were changing all the lights at the same time. So, as I remember, not so very long back. So I'd say there we are. It was done, there we are, deliberately. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so somebody's listening, aren't they? Anyway, my delicious little baby, so what do I want to say? So, yes, so there's a channel now. The last time that a video was posted on there was 5 years ago. It has 194 subscribers, my delicious little babies. It only had 1 like on there, so I put a like on there, okay, my delicious little babies. I don't know, I forgot how many minutes long it is now. Could it be about, I don't know, is it between 30 and 40, something like that? And it's a very interesting video to listen to, and it's all lowercase. So if you used to please and thank you, type into the old space bar in YouTube, truthfulness. So it's all one word, truthfulness. Okay, my delicious little babies. Happens to have, there we are, some interesting little videos on there, my delicious little babies. Okay, there's one where there's a young woman, a young lass who's talking. She's talking to your man there now. Me, myself, I've seen some other videos on this man. Me, myself, I do not particularly like the man. Okay, my delicious little baby. So I tell you in my camera now, I do not like the man. But this young lass, she, she had, there we are, rather a lot to say. Now, at the time, what was she, only 22? And she happened to be saying that, and that doesn't mean no, got an itch, like I said earlier. She happened to say that, that not many mankind seem to like her very much, my delicious little babies, okay. She explains that, she went out with a narcissistic man, my delicious little babies. Well, haven't we all? Okay, my delicious little babies, okay. It seems to go with the territory, doesn't it? For many, my delicious little babies. Anyway, not all, but for many. Okay, mind you, you can have narcissistic women as well, narcissistic babies. So, you know, six one and a half dozen of the other. Uh, but a very interesting little video to listen to, narcissistic babies, how your woman there, your young woman there we are, sees things now at that time, narcissistic babies, okay? And she happened to be going on, which we all know about narcissistic babies. She happened to be going on about her, but bless her. And I heard that more, you know, try to like her. Do you understand my delicious babies, whatever she's doing in her life now? Uh, because she did go through a stage, as she clearly pointed out, you know, going through a bit of a different times in her life, my delicious little babies, bless her. But very interesting to hear her take on things, my delicious little babies. But like I said, that was 5 years ago when I was looking at the videos. They were all 5 years ago for most of them. Okay, my delicious little babies. So we do not know where that uploader is either. So what's and by the way, there were not many videos uploaded. That's something else. It's amazing what you found, isn't it, my delicious babies? You know, when you just keep digging, you know. Anyway, my delicious babies, she happened to be talking about, you know, the old loo rolls, you know, toilet rolls, my delicious babies. I mean, come on. Everybody remembers it at that time, my delicious babies, you know, where it was. I mean, for real. No joke. Swear down. I mean, come on. What were they doing? Arguing. I mean, there were so many videos, mad delicious babes, on BitChute. Ones, sorry, excuse me, mad delicious babes, literally arguing and getting in a kerfuffle over toilet roll, mad delicious babies. You know what I mean? You have to try to see. Now, I already knew what she was talking about. There we are, mad delicious babies, kind. And, you know, so I could already see all of these things now. Do you know what I mean? Like ones were, and then, you know, after they'd done the shopping, coming back, I was actually told, I mean, bless them, bless their dear little souls. Because at the end of the day, you know, this was happening all over, you know, the world, you know, well, apart from a few countries that knew nothing about anything. But then they'd come home, wash their hands, you know. It was that so very sorry to say, but it was, there we are. It was that level of, you know, brainwashing, my delicious little baby. See, slightly stumbled there, not changing my video. So yeah, she was talking about, and she said, there we are, exactly what my thoughts was all of those years back, my delicious little babies. Well, it's not so very long ago, is it, my delicious little babies anyway? And the wind's picking up. And yeah, because you could see how many listened intentively to their what they call their leaders, marginalistic babies. Stumbling again, so rightfully so. You see, for myself, I just never listened to a word of it because for myself, marginalistic babies, there we are. It was a load of effing crap, man. That's what it was, a load of crap. I mean, you know, if you really look at this logically, okay. So you've got this really terrible thing that's, well, supposedly was happening, mad to babies. Ones need to see what's gone on here. They'd already put out things like to do with the common cold. There we are. I've said this for years and years and years and years. Okay, mad to babies. They already put other things out in the air now, mad delicious little babies, okay, to create all these things, just like they have with because so I'm finished on that video now, my delicious little babies. But it's interesting to listen to your young woman there, okay, and how she sees the world at that time. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's how she saw it, okay? And it's very interesting to look at different angles. I always say that my delicious little baby is very interesting indeed. But if we look at it, corona, there we are, equals the common cold. Okay, my delicious little babies, what she does, there we are, is she goes a bit further. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, but I hope she's all right, bless her. Okay, because even in that video, you know, she looked herself, you know, as if she was, you know, a little bit, bless her, a little bit troubled with it all. You know what I mean? Mad delicious little babies. But anyway, but I certainly never liked that man at all. Never liked him. He came across to myself as very sort of very dictatorial. There we are. Very conniving. There we are. Very sly. You know, just with the questions he was asking. Like at the start, he said, you know, oh, you're very smart, aren't you? Do you see what I mean, Martin? And there we are, manipulative. Okay, Martin, look, baby. So you have to have your, you know, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest in the video that I've just mentioned, maybe you would have to have your own. There we are, thoughts. Okay, Martin, look, babies, but put it this way. He's not a man who I would wish to have a conversation with or engage with. Okay, Martin, look, babies, okay, because he's another one, there we are, who likes to suck all that energy from somebody's noddle. Martin, look, babies, you see what I mean? There's plenty of those, isn't there, Martin, look, babies? Yes. So, yeah, so that's that video there. But, yeah, when we go back and we actually see what happened, okay, you know, and how ones are programmed to wash their hands, wash your hands, okay, washing the shopping when they got it home, you know. And then, of course, if you look over the years and you see supermarkets and things like this now, then what they tend to do is they tend to, I mean, I remember at one time they never used to wear gloves. So they never used to wear gloves if they were, say, stocking the fridges or whatever they were doing, or stocking the shelves. So it's amazing over these years, my little babies, okay? There we are, how these are managed to do things now. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? What's my point to all of this? The fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies, is simply this, simple things. You see, if one's turned off the box in the corner of the room, we truly wouldn't have this problem, my little babies. And that doesn't mean yes, no, it doesn't. If one's, say, put down a newspaper, never read what was on the front. Now, occasionally, you know, say if I've got on the bus, you know, and there happens to be a newspaper there, you know, you sort of glance through, you know, just passing the time, basically, you know what I mean, my little babies. Do I let anything sink into my noddle? And that's on a rare occasion, by the way, my little babies. Do I let anything sink into my noddle? No, I do not. So if one's stopped doing that as well, my little babies, there we are, that would be a help. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to mention, so I'm going on to different things, my little babies. So I don't know about you, my little babies, anybody who watches YouTube, okay? There's a lot more adverts. There's also a lot more these sponsored, whether it's, well, you know, could be a number of different sponsors. But if you look at, say, the ones who are modelling even jackets or anything like this, I don't know if you've noticed this, my little babies, but I remember at one time, these used to be smiling. But you don't seem to see that anymore, my little babies. So the ones who are modelling the gear, there we are, seem to look depressed as well, my little babies, if you follow me. Do you see what I mean, my little babies? The other thing I want to mention is, okay, you can have a cooking programme. I'm all for that, my little babies. And by the way, I mentioned on one of my videos yesterday, well, that Kay's Cooking happens to have 330,000 subscribers, my little babies, but I do not feel that she's done this on her own. And videos that get promoted like that, there we are. There is usually, there we are, something else going on here, okay, my little babies. But if you listen to her channel very carefully, especially the last video that she uploaded, I never watched any more. I was only halfway through listening to that one, and then I clicked off, okay? I personally think she's a little, you know, with anybody not in that way, not in that way. I think she's a little sweetie, actually, you know what I mean, my little babies, okay? But she says little things, if you follow me, my little babies, like mushrooms. So she doesn't say mushrooms, she says mushrooms. Okay, my little babies. It's like she says she's got 10 wooden spoons, but she only used one. Do you see what I mean? Marvelous little babies. Little things, what she says. Okay, marvelous little babies. Nevertheless, bless her. But I still do feel, I do not believe she's an Egypt, not by any stretch. Do I still feel that somebody needs to, there we are, genuinely take her under their wing, you know, not just get her to sell mugs and T-shirts, you know, and all this kind of thing now then, you know what I mean? It's easily, there we are, how ones get roped in. Okay, marvelous little babies. So, anyway, but bless her heart. And, you know, I hope that her channel continues to grow, okay? But I also feel that there's been some, there we are, exploitation there. There we are. Okay, marvelous little babies, that's just my thoughts, okay? So, cooking is a good thing because it teaches ones, you know, maybe new recipes and things like this. And I happen to love cooking. So, you know, so that's a bonus. But it's as though life has just gone back to, you know, like makeup channels, what handbags you use, what clothes you wear. And when you actually look at it, and you take a very good look, marvelous little babies, it's just a load of flipping crap and nonsense, isn't it? There we are, marvelous little babies, you know what I mean? So where are the ones? I mean, if you look at some channels over the years, especially since the old pandemic, marvelous little babies, and very sadly what followed, you had some channels where could have been anything. Could have been ones who did readings, could have been ones who talked about completely different topics and subjects. Okay, marvelous babies. But when that came along, you know, they couldn't just sit by or stand by and just watch all this happen. So you had those, there we are, who were using their noddles. So that's not me being sarcastic or anything. I'm just done saying it. But you got others who totally, to protect their channels, they never spoke about any of it, marvelous little babies, you know what I mean? So you notice these things now. Do you see what I mean, marvelous little babies? Of course, really looking at it, marvelous little babies, what you're actually seeing is ones who are not wanting to see. That's the point that I'm making, marvelous little babies, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've been noticing changes, there we are, when you look at different channels, you know, even channels that I've never seen before, okay? Sorry, excuse me. So, yeah, there are a lot of changes, but then in other ways, there isn't. Because one's very sadly, for some, not for all, they're still driven by, there we are, ka-ching, 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 gee, so what I mean, mad little babies. So, I feel that with those, just let it be, let it be. Do you know what I mean? Mad little babies. Anyway, finally, what I want to talk about is this business with what happened in our old England, mad little babies. Now, straight away, you had some other channels that I've never seen before. I'm not going to bother to advertise them, mad little babies, because I do not feel the need to. I mean, you know, that's their channels, isn't it? Mad delicious little babies, okay? Has anybody ever sort of stood there and watched paint dry? Mad delicious little babies. You know, like where you keep going back. It's like you paint a wall and you keep going back and touching it just to see if it's dry, mad delicious little babies. It can take forever, can't it, mad delicious little babies? Well, that's what was coming up on my feed, mad delicious little babies. So this is not being nasty to other uploaders for some. But whoever YouTube was trying to put up on my feed, no, I'm not advertising them because it's just like watching paint dry. Totally flipping effing boring. There we are. Okay, mad delicious little babies. Wasn't for myself. Now some would say that my channel's boring. Well, rock on. Nobody has to listen to my channel, do they? I just say it the way it is. These are what you call ones who, there we are, jump on the bandwagon to get the click, 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 clicks. Do you see what I mean? Without really looking into anything. Now, for myself, I'm still not going to form, again, much of an opinion here. You don't really hear about the synagogues anymore, do you, Martin? Little babies, what went on there? You're not really hearing too much, but straight away, what my thoughts was, Martin, little babies, okay? I didn't spend really much time at all focusing on this for very obvious reasons for myself. But the fact of the matter in all of this is just another way that we are to bring in the RD. There we are, Martin, little babies, okay? And I'm pretty sure that this won't last for long. Then that'll get brushed under the carpet. What about what happened in Liverpool? So we're not really, unless somebody's meticulously following it, we haven't really heard anything about that, mad delicious little baby. So you've got to see what's going on here. There are more uploaders, there we are, who are seeing, okay, mad delicious little babies, but there are many others who, to be perfectly honest, do not go further, there we are, than the end of their nose. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's why I'm not going to really say much on it, okay? I was not there, so I cannot say what happened. Okay, my delicious little babies, and really, I feel like I'm going to leave it like that. Oh, sorry, there is something else I want to say. The other thing is as well, I was listening to, this was uploaded a couple of days ago. He happens to have 332,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, Neil Oliver, and he was talking to a Dr. Malik. Yeah, we know Dr. Malik. Actually, they were having an interesting conversation. It was over an hour long. Okay, my delicious little babies. And Neil Oliver as well was talking about this, being nice to others and everything. Yes, I was done saying this, there we are, however long ago, my delicious babies. We always hear the word canned, be canned. So we've had generations, there we are, and generations, families, members, bless their beautiful, dear little souls, and with anybody not in that way, not in that way. We've all at some point in our lives, so most of us, had, very sadly, somebody pass away, being told that they've got something when really they haven't. Okay, my delicious little babies. But these have got away with culling and murderers, murdering for many decades, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? But of course, if you're not nice about it, you get frowned upon. You see to me, this is just me using my words. This is not to do with what Neil Oliver said. This is to do with my feelings on things, my delicious little babies. So, should you be nice or should you be kind if somebody has, that we are, murdered one of your relatives or one of your friends by telling them that they've got diseases that they haven't got? So should we be nice about it? Should we be kind about it? I'm not inciting anything. There we are, simple things, asking a question. My delicious little babies. You see what I mean? Should we be kind that one's, let's just say over these short space of time, are being removed from their homes to bring others in? Should we be nice and should we be kind about that, my delicious little babies? Should we be kind that our countryside, our food, especially in these times, my delicious little babies, it's always been under attack, but what I'm talking about is that our food at this present time, everything, is under attack. Should we be nice about that? Should we be kind about that? Ones who are having to work a lot more for a lot less and be taxed to the hilt. Should we be kind about that, and should we be nice about that? Ones who are struggling to pay bills because of what has been put upon them. Should we be kind about that? Should we be nice about that? When they're always causing problems with either colour, religion, who's got a better job than somebody else, should we be kind about that? Should we be nice about that? When they want ones to not fly anymore, or they make, because they've been doing this a long time, train tracks in poor condition and things like this now, then, because we haven't heard about the crashes for a while, have we, mad little babies, you know what I mean? If you go back decades ago, they used to be working on the tracks till all hours to make sure that there wasn't these problems, and the problems that did occur, there we are, were very purposefully done. Okay, mad little babies, okay? So should we be kind there, where they make train fares so expensive that ones will say, oh, I cannot afford to catch a train, so I'll wait for a bus, or, and in some cases I'll walk, or whatever the case may be. So should we be kind and should we be nice with the airlines, how much they charge? So, something that could cost 30, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Then the next time, there we are, they're charging 300, 400. Should everybody be kind and nice about that? When they keep putting up petrol and diesel. And by the way, when I keep hearing, which I have been hearing on different channels, I tend to click off Mad Little Babies. I just, sometimes I'll just look at the title. If I'm interested, I'm interested. If I'm not, I'm not. But where ones are saying that it's going to get harder and harder in the years to come to drill for oil, that's Mad Little Babies. There we are. Before I even say it, there we are, is a crock of shart. I still do not believe that. It's a crock of shart. Again, it's fear-mongering. Okay, Mad Little Babies, and I do not believe it. Because we were put here and given what we were given, there we are, for a reason, that we could have full and plenty. So all I'm really going to end my video with, Mad Little Babies, it's like ones are being trained. It's like we're being treated like, and blessed little animals, so I do not mean this in a nasty way, but it's like we've all been treated like circus animals, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Jump through this hoop, jump over that bar, go under the bar, go under the hoop. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? And all the time, we've got to be nice about it. If you look at circus animals and how caged there was, so you used to have a lot of travelling circuses, you don't really see it now these days, my delicious little babies. Those little animals had to perform all the time and had to be nice all of the time. But over the decades, you've also seen where these same beautiful animals who've been treated like that, they could spend years doing as they're told, from their trainers. But at one time, they turn. There we are. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies? Okay, so no more is the trainer. And for some of the animals, they still live. But for others, very sadly, no more is the animal. And I'm going to leave it like that, mad little babies. But like I said, I'm not inciting anything. I just like to ask questions. There we are, really. And I also like to look at other angles. So until my next video, my delicious little babies, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey buddies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you also. With myself, I just like to give food for thought. You see what I mean? But when one's trained to be nice and kind, that's just like saying, not in literal terms, but that's just like saying that others, there we are, can trample over us. But we've got to be nice and kind about it. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Well, for myself, I do not agree with that. If somebody keeps persistently wanting to be nasty and spiteful and take away our freedoms, okay, my delicious little babies, because, you know, we're no different to Gaza. Are we, my delicious little babies? So they had at one point, bless them, 2 million. And we have how many million? But the fact of the matter is, we've also been, there we are, in this prison, haven't we, my delicious little babies? You see what I mean? So we're no different. The only difference is, there we are, it's been highlighted more. That's my thoughts. That's not me listening to any channel. That's my own thoughts, my delicious little babies. You see what I mean? So really, in their eyes, you know, to whom it may concern, we're classed as circus animals. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies can? But being nice and kind just means that they can, like I just said, not in literal terms, trample over us as much as they like. And they feel that we've got to say, that's all right. You just carry on doing what you're doing now. But I would strongly say, to finish on this, that I do believe, there we are, they are getting most worried. There we are. I genuinely do. And I'll repeat again, as I've said on many other videos, the reason why they're trying to speed this along, because when you've got so many who are, there we are, all peed off at the same time, for some who are, there we are, beginning to see, okay, they can see, there we are, it's not going to look too healthy for them. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes, because they managed to build their armies, like you're in the army now, or, you know, the policing the old bill of different countries, or you know, there, however many there are in Parliament or in other governments around the world, you know, or the World Economic Forum or the World Health Organization. So you've got lots of little men and little women, there we are, in little suits, all doing as they're told, okay? But even with all those numbers combined, is not a match on mankind out here. There we are, and they know this. There we are. Okay, my delicious baby. So like I said, I'm not inciting anything. I'm simply a woman. There we are. And I'm all woman the last time I looked. You know what I mean? I haven't had, you know, any sex changes or anything. That's not against anybody who has. You know what I mean? But the last time I looked, I was all woman and still am. Okay, my delicious little babies. But they're realising that ones, there we are waking up to this. I'm not talking about everybody, because many have. I'm talking about the others who are in that stage. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So they know. There we are, they know. Okay? And they also know that ones are getting, there we are, mighty frustrated. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. And that's how I'm going to leave my video. So please look after yourselves. Please try to look after others. Okay, you just take care now, and full protection to each and every one of you. But yes, they know. There we are. I've got it all across my shoulders. You see what I mean? Even for ones who do not believe, because I'm a spiritual woman. So for those who do not believe, well, they can get on their effing back and pedal fast, you know what I mean? Because we all have our spirituality. Some use it, there we are, shall we say, more than others. Anyway, so very much love to you. Please take care now. Thank you so very much for any views, for any likes. My videos are completely just not getting out, okay? But not to worry, not to worry. There's always somebody hearing and there's always somebody who's seeing. Okay, my little babies. So you just look after now. Love ya. Thank you. Goodbye.